Leo, let's get right to it. A lucky object is heading your way. It's not a metaphor. Something small, physical, noticeable, probably unexpected is about to show up in your life. And when it does, it's going to carry more weight than you think. Because what comes with it isn't just good fortune. It's a shift in energy. It's karma finally catching up with someone who has been silently resenting you. This isn't about punishment. It's about balance. There's been someone, maybe more than one person, who smiled at you but held something heavy behind their eyes. Jealousy, comparison, competition. They didn't celebrate your light. They tolerated it. And deep down, they wanted it for themselves. But now the universe is handling what you couldn't say out loud. And in return, it's sending you a sign. A gift. A token of release and protection. A confirmation that your intuition was never wrong, even when you kept giving people the benefit of the doubt. If that resonates even slightly, you're in the right place. And Noyari not here by coincidence. I say that not to sound mystical, but because energy moves in patterns. You clicked this video because part of you knows something is shifting. Not just around you, but within you. Your nervous system has already picked it up. That's why things feel heavier lately. That's why people's energy has started to feel louder than their words. You're not imagining it. And before we move forward, I want to say something clearly. If this reading found you, it's not just a message. It's timing. It's alignment. You've been in a season of letting go. Letting go of control, of trying to fix others, of carrying emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. You've been stepping back without explanation. Choosing silence over conflict. And it hasn't been easy, has it? But now, things are about to shift. The person or people who tried to outshine you, outplay you, or quietly sabotage you. They're about to feel the weight of that energy returning to them. And you? You're about to rise without effort. Because you've already done the hard part. You held your ground. You didn't break character. You stayed true. So here's what I want you to do now. Ground yourself in this moment. Breathe in slowly. And if what you're hearing speaks to something deep inside you, I want you to drop a comment below. Just say, I'm ready to receive what's meant for me. That's it. That's your signal. You don't have to explain it. Just claim it. Your presence here matters. Your energy is felt. Every time you comment, like, or subscribe, you're not just supporting this channel, you're strengthening your own alignment with truth. That's the intention behind every message here at Eternal Mindfulness. So stay with me. Because what's coming next in this reading will confirm exactly what your spirit's been whispering. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just in the final steps of becoming exactly who you were always meant to be. Let's go deeper. You felt it, haven't you? That strange tension in the air when a certain person walks into the room. Nothing is said outright, yet your body picks it up before your mind does. The shallow breath, the tightness in your chest, the forced smile you wear even when something inside you whispers, this isn't right. That, Leo, is the subtle but powerful presence of envy disguised as support. And it's not paranoia. It's your nervous system responding to misaligned energy. Sometimes it's not the loud haters that drain you, it's the quiet ones. The ones who nod and clap and ask questions, but behind their interest is a silent hope that you'll stumble. They're not always bad people. Often, they're people who couldn't deal with your light because it reminded them of where they dimmed their own. And when you keep growing, when you keep choosing yourself, that contrast becomes too much for them to handle. There's a quiet energy of competition that doesn't need words. It shows up in subtle digs. Delayed responses. That, "Oh, you're doing that now," tone. And as much as you've tried to ignore it, oh, stay gracious. To keep the peace, your energy knows what your words have been too polite to say. That's the thing about people who envy you silently. They don't just wish they had your light, they wish you would stop shining so they don't have to feel their own shadows. From an astrological standpoint, this tension is no accident. With Mars activating your personal power zones, and shadow archetypes like the reverse devil card showing up in energetic readings, everything that's been hidden, especially envy, resentment, and false alliances, coming to the surface. It's like the universe has turned on a cosmic floodlight. And what's been lingering in the corners can't hide anymore. You're not being punished for your growth. You're being shown the truth because it's time to stop negotiating your worth in rooms that don't know how to hold it. This is karmic timing. And that person or people who have been competing in secret are about to hit a wall. Not because you asked for revenge, but because energy always returns to its source. What we project, we inherit. And they've been investing in the wrong story for too long. Still, that doesn't mean you should stoop to their level. This isn't about calling anyone out. This isn't about proving anything. This is about choosing peace over performance. Self-worth over sacrifice. Silence can be grace. And walking away can be the most powerful boundary you ever set. You see, we were never meant to carry the emotional burdens of others who won't carry their own. And many of us were raised to believe that keeping harmony meant making ourselves small. But peace that requires you to abandon yourself isn't peace, it's self-erasure. You're not here to dim your light for anyone. You're here to shine and trust that those meant to stand beside you will never ask you to shrink. So if lately you felt guilty for pulling away, if you've second-guessed your gut about someone's energy, if you've been talking yourself out of what you know to be true, let this be your confirmation. You were right to feel it. You were right to choose distance. You were right to protect your spirit. Your inner light is not a burden. It's not something to be negotiated. It's a compass, a boundary, and a gift. And anyone who truly sees you really sees you will never try to extinguish it. They'll protect it like it's sacred. Because it is. And so are you. Take a breath. Let that land. And if this message resonates, say it out loud or comment it below. I no longer apologize for my light. That's your declaration. That's the energy that changes everything. Let it begin. Leo, if you've been paying attention lately, you might have noticed that certain patterns keep finding their way into your day. Maybe it's a number that pops up at the oddest times on receipts, on license plates, even as the duration of a video you didn't plan to watch. Maybe it's a coin lying face up in a place you wouldn't expect. Or maybe it's a subtle flash of color gold, pearl white, or that unmistakable soul-deep violet that seems to keep catching your eye without warning. These aren't random. They're markers. Gentle nudges. And they mean something bigger is on its way. What's coming isn't just luck in the traditional sense. It's energy alignment. It's the universe responding to your inner shift. After all you've let go of, after all the noise you've learned to silence, it's time for something new to take root. And often, that begins with a sign. In astrology and energy work, we call it a physical anchor, an object or moment that carries frequency. A lucky object, yes, but more than that, it's a mirror of your readiness. A symbol of transformation. In the next 7 days, don't be surprised if you stumble across something that doesn't seem significant to anyone else but stirs something in you. It might be a broken bracelet you find in a drawer you haven't opened in months. It might be a feather at your doorstep. A song that seems to answer a question you didn't say out loud. Or even just the number 888, for 44, or 1111 showing up more than once in a single day. When these things happen, don't brush them off. They're part of your signal path. You're not just moving forward, you're being guided. From a numerology perspective, 8 is the number of wealth, not just financial, but spiritual, emotional, and creative abundance. 4 is the energy of protection, structure, and divine boundaries. And 11 is awakening. When you see 1111, it's like the universe blinking in your direction, reminding you to wake up to your own power. So when you see these signs, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I ready to receive? Because what's coming wants to land in the hands of someone who's prepared to hold it with intention. Energetically, these signs are like cosmic fingerprints. They're small, quiet confirmations that you're not walking alone and that everything you've released has made space for something better. You may notice doves, soft thunder on a clear night, a rainbow after a quiet storm. All of these carry the same message: the shift is here. Your season is changing. And no matter how loud the past tries to echo, it can't follow you where you're headed. And I want to be clear, this isn't about superstition. It's about pattern, intuition, awareness. Your life moves in cycles, just like the stars, and right now, one of those cycles is breaking open. That object you're going to find? That repeated number? It's not lucky because it's rare, it's lucky because you're finally ready to see it for what it is, an invitation. To trust your alignment. To claim the new story waiting to be written. So let me ask you something real. Have you been seeing these signs? Have numbers been showing up again and again in ways that feel too precise to ignore? If so, I want you to share that below. Comment with the number you've seen lately. This isn't just for fun, it's a way to lock it in. To let the universe know, I see you. I'm listening. I'm ready. And remember, these aren't just signs. They're footsteps. Evidence that what's meant for you is already making its way to your door. Keep your eyes open. Your hands open. Your heart open. Because you're closer than you think. When someone tries to control you through guilt, silence, or subtle emotional games, it can take years to understand what was really happening. Especially when the manipulation was dressed up as love, care, or concern. You may have spent nights wondering if you were too much, too sensitive, too reactive. You probably questioned your own intuition, especially when others didn't see what you saw, didn't feel what you felt. But let me be clear, Leo, the energy was never clean. And now, it's coming back around, just as it always does. You see, envy doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers sweetly. It tells you to tone it down, to shrink a little, to apologize for your confidence. But beneath that whisper is something heavy. Jealousy is one of the densest emotional frequencies there is. And when someone envies your light, your courage, your growth, your joy, they don't always attack you directly. They try to distort your reflection, make you doubt what you've earned, make you feel wrong for being right. And for a while, it might have worked. But energy doesn't lie. And while you've been rising quietly, choosing your peace, protecting your healing, their masks have been slipping. Not because you exposed them, but because the truth always finds its way to the surface. Right now, we're seeing the energy of justice and the tower show up together in tarot, which rarely happens without impact. In astrology, this mirrors moments when karmic cycles are ready to close, and illusions can't survive the clarity that's unfolding. This is that moment. People who tried to manipulate your emotions, who used your kindness as a tool to maintain control, are now being faced with the cost of their choices. Not through drama, not through revenge, but through their own emotional unraveling. That's what happens when someone keeps throwing darkness at the light. They eventually end up choking on the shadows they created. And the thing is, Leo, you don't have to do anything to make this happen. You just have to keep living. Keep glowing. Keep choosing joy, truth, and wholeness over performing for approval. In the world of emotional energy work, this is what we call energetic backlash, not as punishment, but as a realignment. What we project out into the world returns to us with multiplied momentum. If you've been planting seeds of growth, self-love, courage, and boundaries, you'll start seeing fruit. If they've been sowing manipulation, envy, and self-denial, you'll begin to see the cracks. And when those cracks show, it won't be because you wished harm. It will be because they spent too long building on a foundation that couldn't hold the weight of truth. This is hard to watch when you have a good heart. Maybe part of you still feels compassion for them, even after everything. That's natural. But remember, compassion doesn't mean reopening access. You can care from afar. You can forgive without forgetting. And you can move forward without making space for the same patterns to return. Your light is doing the work now. The healing you chose is radiating outward. And the stronger that light becomes, the harder it is for falsehoods to stand near it. You become a mirror, one that reflects back what's real. Some people will be drawn to it. Others will run from it. And a few, the ones who tried to dim it, may crumble under its weight. Don't dim down to make anyone more comfortable. Don't quiet your joy to avoid triggering those who haven't found theirs yet. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep choosing you. Because karma isn't loud. But it is always on time. And right now, it's on your side. If you felt this energy stirring, say it below. I choose peace, and I let the universe take care of the rest. Let that be your closure. Let that be your power. Of all the moments that change a life, few are as subtle as the ones that look like coincidence but are anything but. You might get an unexpected message from someone who opens a new door in your career. You might overhear an opportunity that feels like it was meant just for you. Or maybe money appears not in a dramatic lottery win, but in a small offer, a paid collaboration, a client referral, or an investment that finally turns around. These are not random. They are invitations. And they only show up when you're no longer blocking your own abundance out of fear, guilt, or the need for approval. In astrology, opportunity is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion. But Jupiter doesn't force its gifts on anyone. It waits for your yes. That yes doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just you waking up in the morning and saying, "I'm open." That's it. Energy flows toward clarity, not confusion. So if you've been stuck in self-doubt, if you've been waiting for someone to tell you it's your turn, this is your reminder, it already is. Say yes. Show up. Let life surprise you. In matters of the heart, the energy is just as generous. If you're already in a relationship, expect depth to take the lead, more honesty, more commitment, more growing side by side. Maybe you've both been tested, stretched, or distanced in some way. But now, something in the air feels more grounded. Like you've earned the right to stay. If you're single, don't dismiss that odd pull towards someone new, or even someone you've just met but feel strangely familiar with. That's not a fluke. Some connections are written across timelines. And when you meet a soul who's already met you before, there's no need to rush or explain. You'll just know. But let's not forget the container that holds all of this: you. Your body, your heart, your nervous system. Everything I'm saying here sounds exciting, but it can also be overwhelming if you're running on empty. Right now, your heart center, your chest, your breath, your sleep needs a reset. Stress can quietly wear you down, especially when you're carrying silent pressure to perform, please, or prove. So slow it down. Add one practice, just one, a 7-minute meditation in the morning. Or a calming ritual like chamomile tea before bed. Maybe omega-3 to support your brain and heart health. Small steps, big shifts. Colors matter too, not just in design or fashion, but in emotional frequency. This week, surround yourself with olive green and earthy orange. Olive will help anchor you when emotions feel unsteady. It holds a quiet strength, a reminder that grounded doesn't mean boring, it means rooted. And orange? That's your fire. Your spark. It reignites your confidence and your creative center. Wear it. Paint with it. Light a candle. Let it nudge your energy back toward vitality. Most of all, speak to the universe as if it's listening. Because it is. Each morning, try saying this out loud: I allow luck to enter my life without needing anyone's permission. That one sentence changes your posture. It reminds you that your blessings don't need to be earned through struggle, they can arrive because you're finally ready to receive. And I mean that, truly. Not everything has to be hard. Some things are meant to come easily. You just have to stop blocking the door. So if you're watching this, it's not just for entertainment. It's a turning point. Your job is not to chase what's meant for you. Your job is to prepare to welcome it. Comment below if you felt this shift. Let this moment be the one where you stop doubting your timing. Where you trust the quiet yes that lives inside you. And where you remember that courage isn't loud. Sometimes, it's just a soft voice that says, I'm ready. There comes a time when the most powerful thing you can do is to stop apologizing for your light. Leo, you were never meant to shrink into the background, and somewhere deep down you've always known that. You felt the tension of holding yourself back so others could feel comfortable. You've dimmed your voice in rooms where your truth was too loud for their insecurities. You've over-explained your joy, your ambition, your radiancy as if it needed justification. But that season is over now. When you finally say, enough, you don't just release others from your field, you unlock your own gate to what was waiting all along. In astrology, Leo rules the heart, the spine, and the solar energy of life itself. This isn't symbolic, it's vibrational. When a Leo dims, it's like watching the sun try to play the moon. It's unnatural. It creates friction, sadness, and stagnation. But when Leo reclaims their space without waiting for permission, the entire room changes. People start to notice. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because your alignment becomes magnetic. You remember who you are, and the world responds accordingly. That's why I encourage you now, as you're hearing this, to begin a simple but sacred practice. Write this affirmation daily: I step into my good fortune with gratitude and worthiness. Not just once. Not like a ritual you try for a week and forget. But as a declaration, a contract with yourself and the energy that surrounds you. When you begin to speak your life into alignment, the universe does more than listen. It rearranges to meet your frequency. And it's not just about words. It's about the embodied belief that you no longer have to justify your glow. That being fully you is not a threat. It's a gift. Alongside this inner shift, don't underestimate the power of your outer environment. Your physical space holds the residue of past versions of you, the ones who were unsure, afraid, constantly adjusting. Now is the time to clear the space. Move furniture, release old objects, give away what no longer reflects who you're becoming. Not because minimalism is trendy, but because energy accumulates. And new energy, new blessings, can't flow freely into spaces still cluttered by yesterday's weight. And if you've been feeling strange surges of emotion, waking up from dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, or noticing symbols, birds, coins, songs, scents appearing without explanation, trust them. This week carries a strong wave of spiritual alignment. In energy work, we call this ancestral whisper, those moments when your lineage, your guides, your inner knowing steps forward without words, but with presence. That feeling that you're not alone, that something bigger has your back. It's not wishful thinking. It's connection. The kind of connection that says, we've seen your struggle. We know your heart. And we're helping you rise. This isn't just about justice for the envy that once tried to shrink you. It's about elevation. The very people who tried to dim you are watching now. Not out of admiration, but disbelief that you didn't just survive, you thrived. And the beautiful thing? You don't even need revenge. Your peace is your power. Your growth is the loudest silence you could ever offer. So take a deep breath. And when you're ready, comment below with this truth: I no longer need permission to shine. Let that be your sign out to the universe, to yourself, to the life you're calling in, that you're done asking to exist fully. This is your time, Leo. Step into it. Walk forward without looking back. The doors are already opening. Leo, if you've stayed with me this far, then you already know this wasn't just a video, this was a mirror. A moment where the universe paused everything to reflect your own truth back to you. That lucky object we spoke of, that sign or symbol, it isn't just a token of good fortune. It's a sacred marker. A message that your time has come. Not to fight. Not to prove. But to rise. And this time, not from pain but from power. The person who once envied you, who smiled but secretly hoped you'd fail, will eventually face the lessons they tried to avoid. But you? You don't have to wait for karma to do its part. Because your real focus isn't behind you. It's what's in front, the throne you've been circling around but never fully claimed. This moment, this shift, this alignment, it's yours to walk into. No more permission. No more shrinking. Just a simple, courageous yes to being everything you were always meant to be. So let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you stopped asking for approval? What could unfold if you finally let go of who you needed to be for others, and started becoming exactly who you were created to be? You don't have to answer that out loud, but if your heart whispered something just now, that was the answer. This is your invitation. Not just to listen and feel inspired, but to live it. Speak the affirmations. Clear the space. Notice the signs. Practice choosing yourself daily. You'll be amazed what happens when your energy matches your worth. And if something stirred inside you today, if a part of you felt seen, or a sense of peace found its way into your chest, don't keep that energy quiet. Let it move. Let it ripple. Share it. I'd love for you to take a moment and write in the comments, I am ready to walk into my season of blessings. Say it, not for me but as a declaration for your own soul to hear. And if this message found you exactly when you needed it, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this reminder too. Every click, every word, every new soul who joins us helps this space, eternal mindfulness, stay alive and radiant, a home where we can all return to our most authentic light. You're not here by accident. You've been guided, nudged, and carried, and now, it's your turn to walk. Not with fear. Not with doubt. But with grace. The next chapter of your story has already begun. And it's one only you can write. So, will you step forward? I'll be right here, walking with you.